Now, you've probably seen the title and thought maybe some of these characters would be good leaders. Yeah, that's cap. We'd be dead if a lot of these guys were in power. Goku would institute state-mandated martial arts tournaments every week. He'd have a boy on a wheelchair fighting Yujiro Hanma, telling him to do his best. That boy would likely die. Not to mention Goku's insatiable appetite taking up half the world's food production for himself. Next, we have Gojo. This man is already a menace to society, and it would be even worse if we all had to follow what he says. If Ash Ketchum was a world leader, living under his rule would be a nightmare. Imagine having to rely on someone who sends out Pikachu against a ground type. We would face famine, drought, and an alien invasion just because of his stupidity. He'd have us fighting Pokemon while we're out here in a famine, struggling for half a cracker, a drop of water, and an expired rat burger. Next is Makima, and it might seem good if you're a beta simp. She'd have us as her dogs, doing all sorts of freaky things. Some might argue she just wants peace. And being treated as a dog isn't so bad, but you're forgetting the common fate for dog owners. She'd neuter half of us. What's peace when your balls are gone? Is that the kind of peace you want? A world led by some freaky person? Nah, I'm good on that one. Who put Hisoka in this? Well, at this point, we might as well summon Shenron, ask him to summon every cop that's ever existed, and make them king of the world. Even that would be better than having Hisoka ruling the world.
Oh, I'm not that bad.
You as a freaky ass, what if these anime characters swapped lives? Now, if Saitama switched with Goku, Saitama would have the time of his life. Saitama would be fighting battle after battle and having a great time. We ain't saying who's stronger, cause we're not trying to start a riot. Meanwhile, Goku is finna be at his lowest point. When he goes looking for opponents, he's just gonna kill everyone in the process and contemplate his life. If Naruto swapped with Luffy, it would probably go pretty well. Naruto would become a successful pirate and probably find the One Piece since bro didn't need no filler, cause the only filler was in his stomach, also known as ramen. And meanwhile, Luffy about to make the ramen shop go broke and end up starving the whole village, while Sasuke leaves to find Naruto, his one and only true love. If Deku and Hisoka switched, Hisoka would absolutely... What, you actually wrote that? Well anyways, if Deku swapped with Chopper, then Deku's sorry ass would be kicked off the ship in a matter of seconds. Meanwhile, Chopper would actually get people to like him and be the most popular person in the school, and by the time Deku got back, his sorry ass would get kicked out for the second time. If Denji swapped with Eren, then Denji would not hold back. Bro would go crazy on every single Titan, and hey, maybe even go a little crazy on Mikasa. Meanwhile, Eren is lightworking every single demon with ease, except he's not gonna say he's part Titan cause he's trying to show Makima a few things. If Tanjiro swapped with Light Yagami, then he would write a book about all of his beloved family members and friends, and when he finally comes home to show everyone his book, then family all dead. What if these anime characters had 24 hours to live? Goku would try everything he could to stay alive. He would go to every doctor on the planet trying to figure out if his disease could be cured. But when death comes to take him, he's just gonna beat death's ass. Luffy would just let death take him peacefully, but then Satan would show him a contract. Luffy signed it in a past life, and it said that Luffy is not allowed to die until he finds the One Piece. Luffy asks,
"When's that?"
And then Satan says,
"In the inevitable heat death of the solar system."
Death ain't taking Yujiro. He's gonna scare Death so bad that he's gonna be shaking in his boots. Naruto would spend his last 24 hours trying to invent time travel to prevent Boruto from ever being conceived, so that his legacy ends with him and not his kid. On his deathbed, he's going to confess his love for Sasuke and then flatline. Dio would spend his time using his powers for all the things society and standards would never let him do. On the same note, since they both have nothing to lose, Denji is somehow going to get on death row in under 24 hours and end up dying anyways. If Toji had 24 hours, he would go to the casino and bet everything on horse 7. Miraculously, he would win and then choose to double his winnings. Regrettably, he wouldn't stop doubling until he eventually loses. When death arrives, he flees on one of the horses, only to stumble and fall for the last time. Right as Light Yagami is about to die, he's going to write his own name in the death note, and it's going to cancel out and somehow keep him alive. Gojo would spend his last 24 hours giving every single person on the earth the most unreal backshots this world has ever seen. What if these anime characters were in the real world? Goku would get depressed as hell because he already has barely anyone to train with in his own world. And now the strongest person here is still the equivalent of a dying ant to Goku. Saitama would just abandon the whole hero thing and become a normal person. He would finally get to relax and not worry about threats all the time. The one time he would use his powers, though, is on Black Friday. That bastard does not mess around during sales. Deku would get bullied relentlessly, and when he uses his powers to fight back, then he's gonna become a felon and get life in federal prison. He would then continue to get beat up by everyone in there. Yujiro would have a field day with this one. He is gonna absolutely humiliate everyone who thinks that they are strong and then take over the entire damn earth. Naruto would become a celebrity and enjoy ramen for life until his true love Sasuke brings him back to the Leaf Village. Gojo would take one swipe at TikTok and just die. Beerus would try his hardest not to destroy the planet, but one day he's just going to be walking and a bird is going to fly past him, and I think you know the rest. Luffy is going to realize that the One Piece doesn't exist in this world and almost join Gojo, but then he would discover all-you-can-eat buffets and become the happiest bastard alive. Vegeta would scour the hood for the greatest barber alive and finally fix his shitty hairline. You really believe that? Hell no, he's gonna take that ugly ass shit to his grave. I mean, since Baki is already a boxer, I guess he's gonna be a boxer. What if these anime characters were bounty hunters? Vegeta would let all that power go to his head immediately. He would overcompensating for hella things. Arm reach of that man is short as hell. The man's hairline is atrocious. And have you seen him in tights? Kefla got a better print than him. You know he ain't packing nothing down there. Point being, you better do everything perfectly if that man is coming for you, because he has years of hate in his heart, and if you breathe wrong, he finna hit you with a 9-piece combo like it's Tekken 8. The 6th Booty Warrior and Yudro would be like a buddy cop comedy, but with much more violence and booty snatching. Imagine having a bounty on your head. Not even a big one, but one for like $2,000, and then one day you're in your crib. Then the motherfucking Vampire King with millions of souls comes for you, and a big mofo that built like his blood type is testosterone breaks into your apartment and tells you you can either come along nice and easy or we can come in you nice and rough. The choice is yours. Me personally, I'm folding. I'm not about that life, take me in. Now I know what you're thinking, Toji is already a bounty hunter, yeah, but now he is gonna be one in this video. Anyway, Toji would be merciless. Naturally, you saw what he did to the plasma vessel. I bet my left nut if there was a bounty on Baby Yoda, Toji would do the job for a bag of Doritos and a Mountain Dew. This man is a gremlin, but these women are almost as thirsty for him as they are Gojo. Deku, the type to see a motherfucker with 20 bodies beat up a kid, steal from a grandma after drop-kicking her down a flight of stairs, and cry when he hears his backstory. And what would be the backstory, you ask? His backstory would be all his life, all he wanted was to get some coochie, and Deku would still want to try to rehabilitate him. Deku soft as hell. He would be top 10 worst bounty hunters. I'm talking Shaq from the 3 throw line. He ain't getting nothing. I'm actually surprised Makima didn't do this before, but here is her game plan. If the wanted poster says dead or alive, she gonna kill him and bring their body to the police, then revive him later like a freaky infinite money glitch. Also, she gonna do unspeakable things to the criminals. You know how that is, old freaky ass. What if these characters were to time travel? Vegeta would go back in time to save Planet Vegeta, just to see Frieza's face flabbergasted, baffled, and bewildered at a Super Saiyan. He would then proceed to soil his Space Emperor pants when he sees Super Saiyan God Blue. He would then join forces with Goku, Broly, and Bulma, training with them, and ruling as the king of Planet Vegeta. However, he would still have that trash hairline though, as Saiyan technology can't fix that shit. This man would be motivated again for the first time in his life to find a cure for his baldness. While he trains, he would repeat the training process over and over again until he finds the training that allows him to not only be strong, but also helps him grow hair. This raises the question, would you rather be bald or have a trash hairline? He heading back to the ancient time, and he is wiping out all his enemies and punishing everybody for the shit they did to him before he did it. Since he is a booty warrior, his nickname of Vlad the Impaler gonna take on an entirely and more scary meaning as he reigns as the Dark King of Transylvania. Ash gonna do the exact same thing all over again because I'm pretty sure Ash has the inability to learn his dumb still gonna be sending Pikachu out against ground types and legendaries. Naruto, if he time traveled, would just speedrun his enemies, Orochimaru dead, Akatsuki dead, Pain Talk no Jutsu'd, Sasuke saved. Like, come on, if Naruto had all his strength, would you expect him to let Sasuke go? That's like expecting him to not talk about his swing or make Tenten useful. It's just not happening. Denji gonna spin the block for his fallen friends and beat the shit out of Makima. He then gonna call Gordon Ramsay and force him to make Makima Hinto a 5-star gourmet meal before she does any of the evil shit she does. Ichigo gonna think he is doing the right thing and making the right decision in the past, but somehow, someway, Aizen gonna come out of nowhere and say the time traveling was a part of his plan and then still lose because of plot-induced chaos. Luffy just gonna go back in time and ask Goldie Roger where the f*** is the One Piece. And then when he finds it, he's gonna be disappointed as hell when he sees it's just a note saying there is another treasure to be found, the 2-piece. Bro's gonna travel even further in the past and give Goldie Roger the 3-piece combo if that happens. What if these anime characters were mob bosses? Now, in terms of assassinations and robberies, Toji and his mob would have that shit on lock in the jujitsu world. He was already a problem by himself. But if he had a squad of self-trained killers to further his money-making, Bro would become a nation's issue. However, he would need to open his own casino and only gamble in there, otherwise his dumb ass would bankrupt the entire mob in a week. Meruem would be running everything smoothly. He is a strategic genius. He would be running them chimera ants like it's a giant game of chess, while humanity is playing checkers. He the type to take a pen, a stick of bubblegum, and a torn $20 bill, and flip that into a billion-dollar empire within a month. Bro is playing chess 24/7. Makima would admittedly be a very efficient mob boss. Hell, she ain't even have to use her control devil powers to get recruits. She ain't even got to pay them. Just get her simps from Discord and Reddit, paying them with a pack of raisins and spit on them, and they would still work for her, just for the idea, not even chance of a crumb of coochie. Although Gojo can do the exact same thing as Makima by utilizing his female simps. However, them bitches are feral and would be too thirsty to control. You can't control them. They're gonna be horny 24/7, so it best to hire regular criminals instead. However, he would still have to fight off his fangirls, so half of the mob's funds and manpower would be to just fight of the hoes. He is damn near Space Stalin. He wouldn't have a mob, he would have an intergalactic drug empire. Luffy would make a good boss based on his interactions with the Straw Hats. The only challenge would be convincing him to commit crimes after they treat him to some delicious Italian cuisine. Those calzones and spaghetti would have him in a chokehold. And don't even get me started when you give him gabagool. He'll be owing the mob a debt. Griffith would be a good boss. He would pay you well, be smart, and charismatic, pretty good boss all around until it's time to sacrifice a life to further his power and mob. If you get caught, you're about to serve time. That man is not getting you out. Oh, and don't drop the soap. If it's time to sacrifice you and make you sleep with the fishes, he would do that shit without thinking. You saw what he did to Guts and the gang. Fuck Griffith. All my homies hate Griffith. What cars would these anime characters drive? Goku would get the Back to the Future car. He's never going to fly again. Plus it has instant transmission and can go back in time, so he won't have to use the Dragon Balls to bring back anyone if they die. Hisoka, it's pretty obvious he's getting a white van. Bro's kidnapping game is going to be turned up to 11. Naruto is going to get a supercar, and his ass is going to be playing that sad music, remembering the swing-shedding tears and all the talk no jutsus he had with his former enemies while driving over the speed limit, eventually getting pulled over and getting his license revoked. Luffy is going to bring his whole pirate ship onto land and then get like 20 tickets in a tow. Knowing him, he's probably going to eat the tickets since there are so many. Light would be the type of guy to drive a luxury car. Like someone in a nice-ass car drives up to you and says,
"What's your name?"
You think you're about to win a Mr. Beast challenge, but in reality, you're getting a one-way trip to the pearly gates. Who the f*** let Deku drive? He isn't even old enough. Vegeta has got to have some special type of roof or something, cause a normal car will not be able to contain his big forehead. Gojo would have a matte black sports car, but when he's driving, he's going to see the Gojo figure incident and f***ing crash. Yujiro is going to get the most massive f***ing monster truck that you have ever seen, then pull up on his next set of victims with it before he takes their dignity. Denji wouldn't drive because he would get kidnapped by Hisoka, who said that there was boobies in the back of his van. And you know that Denji can't resist that. What if these anime characters were lawyers? Goku, instead of defending his client, would incriminate him to hell. He would be talking to his client in court about the people he killed as if it was a good thing. Just kidding. Did you really think he wouldn't just beat the judge's ass until his client was free? Naruto is going to summon a shadow clone to take the blame for his client. Light Yagami would be taking notes, and the judge would mysteriously die from heart problems. Deku is just going to complain and complain, and the judge will likely adjourn the meeting before his eardrums burst. Yujiro would do the same thing as Goku, except he wouldn't negotiate with the judge. He would just beat his ass before the trial event even starts. And Phoenix from Ace Attorney would just be a regular lawyer, I guess. Gojo would threaten the judge with his powerful technique.
Domain expansion. Infinite backshots.
Luffy would use his gum-gum powers and send his client to the Grand Line. If Zoro had a trial coming up, he would need to be informed a month in advance because he seems unaware of the existence of this little thing called Google Maps. While Denji is defending his client, the court is going to investigate his own background, and what they find would be the most unspeakable things. The investigators would need a therapist for the shit they saw, which leads to Denji being put on trial and eventually ending up in a mental hospital. Tanjiro is going to try to guilt-trip the judge by telling him that he has a family to feed, and then he will go home to his supposedly alive, not dead family after winning the case. Vegeta would flashbang the judge with his hairline and escape with his client. If King Crimson were a lawyer, he would simply erase the crime in the first place. What if these characters were to have Netflix documentaries? The Vegeta documentary would be called Ronald and the Prince, and it would cover all the times Vegeta and the McDonald's Corporation were involved in legal disputes over the logo resembling Vegeta's hairline. The film would delve into the lengthy court cases, countersuits, and the reasons behind Vegeta's decision to participate in such a lawsuit. Despite his pride, Vegeta agreed to be featured in the documentary to avoid the alternative, which was to be called The Prince of Losses, and showcase all his self-inflicted failures. The Yujiro documentary would be called From Ogre to Warrior and would delve into Yujiro's journey to becoming a threat to every man that commits evil against their fellow human by giving them devious backshots and giving us peeks into what it takes to be a warrior, showcasing Yujiro and his fellow warriors. It would need to be censored for obvious reasons, as Netflix ain't trying to put a man getting long-stroked on TV. Saitama would be called Too Strong to Lose and would go over his depression from always beating the opponent in one punch. It would be a dramatic tale on struggle and purpose, delving into his pain of constantly being mistaken for Johnny's sins on a daily basis, because his head is balder than Baldur's Gate. Frieza's documentary would be called The Space Further, documenting his numerous crimes against planets, his dubious treatment of his workers, and his troubling Twitter posts, and he would have so much of an I don't care attitude that he and Uncle Ruckus would be promoting it on their podcast and handing out monkey-themed merch. The Malevolent Kitchen would be an all-time great documentary, as it would debate whether or not Sukuna is him or nothing but the fraudulent one, by showing if Bro can cook or if he's not even a chef and it's just a mispronounced domain expansion. And also bring up hard-hitting questions like, why does he want Itadori to suck on his fingers? Like, has Bro not Googled his age? Surviving Meliodas would go over his acts against Elizabeth. Sure, they were destined to be with each other, but all I'm saying is, when you're holding a baby and pointing a sword angrily at a group of men, talking about leave my woman alone, it comes off as R. Kelly-type behavior. Chun-Li would document how it felt to possess a fraction of a booty warrior's power in her, and what it was like to claim the booties of your enemy and answer the down-bad question that the freaks online have, like, how big was it? Does it got the hood, or was it on the naked mole rat team? How big was the dimensions of the clackers, and was it musky? Like that.